All right, good evening, everyone. Everyone can hear me okay? Great. Welcome to the Georgia for All Candidate Forum, hosted by the Atlanta Democratic Socialists of America, along with our other partner organizations. I am Matthew with the Housing Justice League. I'm an organizing director with the Housing Justice League. We also have our sponsor orgs, the Georgia Working Families Power, the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, the Asian American Advocacy Fund, of course, the local that is hosting us tonight, that's the CWA, and 5051 Georgia. So thank you, everyone, our partner organizations, for being here, and to the audience. We want to thank the candidates for being here to take the time, and to the audience, of course, for coming and hear them speak on the issues. We will be recording this forum and sharing it as soon as we can after the event. And so just to go over the format real briefly for you, each candidate will be allowed to make a 3-minute opening statement in an order determined at random prior to the event. A bell will be rung when you have 30 seconds left, and then a bell will be rung twice when you have finished your allotted time for your statement. This will be the same for all questions. We will then call up our partner organizations, and they will come up here to the mic stand here, and I will give them the microphone, and they will ask their questions. And each candidate will be given 2 to 3 minutes to respond to each question. We will not have time for responses. We will not have the time for responses, and each candidate will be given as close to equal time as possible. We will proceed to audience questions once we have exhausted our questions from the partner organizations. And we won't be able to get to every audience question, and we will have combined some questions that were on the same topic or related. And of course, there's a QR code up there if you want to submit a question. And any questions we do not get to tonight, we will be sent to the candidates for them to answer after the forum, and we will email their responses to attendees. Finally, we will wrap up with an additional closing statement made by each candidate in the reverse order from the opening statements. And I have my friend here, Brian, with me, who is going to moderate with me as well during the Q&A. It's a little bit of deja vu. Brian and I both used to chair DSA meetings in this very building, so that's kind of cool. So now we will get into the opening statements. So again, it'll be a 3-minute opening statements, 1 bell for 30 seconds, 2 bells for the end. And we will start with Marvin Arrington.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Marvin Arrington Jr. Very happy to have the opportunity to be here with you tonight. I am an attorney, father, native Atlantan, a graduate of the Atlanta Public School Systems, strong believer in public schools. I also graduated from the University of Virginia and returned to Atlanta, where I attended Emory University School of Law. Where at Emory University, I served as the Chief Justice of the Honor Court. For the past 30 years, I've been practicing law. As an attorney, I have a general practice with includes criminal, civil, and my law partner does entertainment exclusively. So in 2015, I ran to become a commissioner in Fulton County, and I have been diligently serving the residents of Fulton County since 2015. So this makes my 12th year serving as commissioner. Very happy to inform you that I have done great work while serving as commissioner over the last 12 years. I believe in leading by example. So I created the Veterans Empowerment Committee and got $1 million per year allocated for the Veterans Empowerment Committee for 3 years, 22, 23, and 24. And I also started the pre-arrest diversion program. Pre-arrest diversion is a program that we brought from Seattle, which basically diverts people out of the county jail. Happy to inform you that we've diverted over 1,000 people from being arrested and staying in the jail over the last 10 years through the policy, right? You may hear others talking about bailing out 2 or 3 people, but as commissioners, we set policy. And so we need a policy that can get 1,000 people out, not someone just volunteering to get 2 or 3 people out. We are policymakers. People always ask, what does the county commission do? Well, county commissioners are responsible for setting the budget and the policy for Fulton County. And what I will tell you is when we set that budget, we are also setting our priorities. We're setting the priorities of Fulton County. Our budget on an annual basis is about approximately $1 billion a year. Half of that money is spent on the criminal justice system, courts, jails, and all of that. But I will submit to you that if we spent more money on our youth and on our arts on the front end, that we would not have to spend that much money on the courts and the criminal justice system on the back end. I'm Marvin Arrington Jr. I'm the only certified county commissioner in this race because I've received over 150 hours of training from the University of Georgia and the Association of County Commissioners.
Thank you. Next, we will move on to Rob Pitts.
All right, thank you all for the opportunity to be here this afternoon. I'm Rob Pitts. I currently serve as the chair of the Board of Commissioners in Fulton County. I want to talk about Fulton County. You know, Fulton County is the largest county in the state of Georgia of the 159. What you do not know maybe is that there are 3,000 plus counties in the United States of America, and your Fulton County is ranked as in the top 5 of that 3,250 counties in the United States. We're doing some good things here in Fulton County. The reason I know that is because my colleagues across the country call me and ask me pretty much on a weekly basis how we're able to do what we do without raising taxes. Now, but we've gone through some tough times, though, in spite of all of the good things that are happening here. You'll recall COVID. We came through COVID, Fulton County, your Fulton County, with flying colors. Again, my colleagues from across the country called me to ask me how we were able to do what we were doing without raising taxes and using the federal money that we received in such a way that we were able to use all of it, and we had to go and get more because we were spending hours, whereas others couldn't even spend all the money that they were getting from the federal government. The second thing that really, I think, has impacted us, was the cyber attack by the Russian mafia. And I say Russian mafia because when they attacked our computer system, it really pretty much put us out of business for a while. But this was not some kids playing in their basement. This was an attack by the top Russian mafia gang, according to the FBI, CIA, and Homeland Security. They wanted millions of dollars in ransom from us. But I, as chairman, said, no, not one penny of Fulton County taxpayers' dollars are we going to pay. 2 or 3 weeks later, they went away. The third issue that's been difficult for us is that, you recall, on the night of January 28th, when the FBI raided our warehouse, confiscated, stole, whatever term you want to use, those ballots from our warehouse. Before that raid, they were safe and secure under our custody. But once that last FBI truck left our warehouse that night, January 28th, as I sit here this evening, I don't know where they are, who has them, or what they're doing with them. Immediately thereafter, though, I filed a lawsuit with others, asking 2 things. Number one, that the affidavit that was used by the FBI to secure the warrant, that it be unsealed. And number 2, that the ballots be returned to us. That the warrant was unsealed. The ballots have not yet been returned. Now, where we are today, we're in difficult times. I believe that we're at war with Washington. This is the time for competent, capable, experienced, and tested leadership. This is not the time for on-the-job training.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Mo Ivory.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you to Georgia for all the Atlanta Democratic Socialists of America, the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, the Asian American Advocacy Fund, CWA Local 3204, the Housing Justice League, 50501 Georgia, and every organization that helped bring this forum together. And thank you to everyone in this room who believes that government should serve the people and not just the powerful. I'm running for chair of the Fulton County Commission because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. And that is exactly what Fulton County has been experiencing. For far too long, we have been with the same leadership, the same patterns, and the same unresolved problems. It's time for new leadership. It's time for new ideas and real actionable steps to address our crises areas. I am the mother of 6, a grandmother of 2, a Spelman College graduate, an attorney, a law professor, and I have proudly called Fulton County my home for more than 35 years. I have been doing this work. I have been fighting for working people, for the Black community, for the South Side, and for the people who have always told me to wait my turn while somebody else's turn gets taken first. Because that is way too much of county government, what county government has become. A system where the people with the most needs are expected to carry the most burden. You do not deserve to see the same leadership year after year and still struggle with access to health care, a humanitarian crisis in our jail, underfunded courts that delay justice, growing housing instability, attacks on immigrant communities, and a lack of transparency in how your $1 billion is being spent. I'm not here for ribbon cutting, galas, or VIP access to suites. I'm here to serve, to publicly educate, and to deliver results for the people of Fulton County, especially the communities that have been underserved, overburdened, and overlooked for far too long. And I have not just talked about these issues. I have tried to move them. I fought for more funding for the Public Defender's Office and Magistrate Court because justice delayed is justice denied. I pushed for more funding for permanent supportive housing because homelessness is not a side issue and prevention costs less than a crisis. I push for more hospitals and healthcare access because working people should not have to travel farther, wait longer, and pay more because the government failed to plan. When county government fails, working families pay the price. Poor people pay the price. This race is not about political comfort. It is about whether Fulton County will keep protecting the status quo or finally start protecting the people. Because new leadership is not just about management. It is about having the courage to protect our voting rights and stand up to Trump when our communities are under attack. Thank you.
We will now call up our partner organizations to ask their questions. Again, each candidate will be given up to 3 minutes to respond to each question. First up, we have our hosts, the CWA Local 3204. If you want to come up and ask your question. Rita Scott. Oh, yeah. My bad.
And a quick clarification. Candidates can't respond to each other. We're just going to give 3 minutes to respond to the question.
Thank you and welcome to CWA, where I am a union member and I also serve as the political director of the organized labor here, CWA. My question is, because I represent members that are in various counties all over the urban area, and what I'm hearing from my membership has a lot to do with property tax. Would you support capping property tax for those that have been in their homes 30 years and above, have aged in place, paid for their homes, and now their property taxes are more than their mortgages? That's my first question.
All right. We will start from left to right with Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much for that question. And yes, Fulton County for Fulton County residents, which is only the residents that we can do anything for, Fulton County residents and seniors specifically have one of the most robust exemptions in Fulton County, which protect their taxes. My father, who lives in South Fulton and has been in his home for more than 30 years and is 84 years old, pays $24 in taxes on his home because he has applied for all of the exemptions that Fulton County offers. So I am for absolutely making sure that seniors can stay in their homes, that they are taking advantage of all of the tax exemptions. Many times, some of the seniors are not aware of the tax exemptions and have not come down to the government building in order to fill out that paperwork. So I also want to improve communication. I want to make sure that if there are seniors out there that have not taken advantage of all of the exemptions, that we find a way to identify them, and then we go to them if we need to make sure that they have those exemptions. So I am 100% for that. But that doesn't mean that we are capping taxes across the board for everybody when we are dealing with so many crises in our county. We cannot fix our jail. As a matter of fact, our county manager included in the budget this year a budget that would increase the millage rate. And then the chairman took money out of it to be able to say that he would not increase the millage rate. But this is why we continue to have crisis year after year after year. Well, let's say decade after decade after decade. So it is important for us to examine our budget. But before we raise taxes on anybody, I propose we do one of the very first things I will do as chair is a forensic audit of our budget. I actually put forth a resolution before I left to run for chair to do a forensic audit of our 2026 budget. And the chairman and his block of 4 votes said no to that. So it is time to open up our budget, get transparent about where we are spending our money, and figure out where we can allocate resources differently and solve the problems that we have. Our problems in Fulton County are our jails, our underfunding of courts, our lack of health care, and protection of our elections. Jail, courts, housing, elections. Hospitals, elections. We know what the problems are. We just haven't taken care of them. And it's time to.
Thank you.
All right, next up we will Chairman Pitts.
Yeah, the direct answer to the question is yes. Without a long explanation, the answer is yes. Now, let me tell you about the budget. I put in place about 15 years ago a plan that would reduce our millage rate through the years, and that plan has worked to perfection. It's been a decrease from it was at 13 mills, I think, at the time, and for the last 6 or 7 years, your millage rate has been 8.87 mills. There was a move to increase your millage rate by 14 or 15% this year. There was a move to do that. And yes, I got the votes to defeat it. And I did it then, and I'll do it again because there are people in our county who cannot afford a millage rate increase, particularly those on fixed incomes, our seniors, and young couples who are just starting out. So I did it before, and I'll do it again. I'm very proud of the fact that we also have a AAA bond rating. That's because of the financial condition of the county and the way that we manage your tax dollars.
And quick reminder, please speak directly into the mic so everyone can hear you. Finally, Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. I certainly support making sure that our seniors and our legacy residents do not have tax increases. The specific question was about supporting a cap. I don't necessarily know that a cap is necessary in order to do that for our seniors. Just this past November, the voters voted for an additional tax exemption, a school tax exemption, which will provide an additional $50,000 tax exemption for seniors over 65 in the city of Atlanta. And outside of the city of Atlanta, that tax exemption is $25,000 additional homestead exemption for seniors age 65. And for seniors age 70 and older, it increases to $50,000 for Fulton County schools. Let's just back up and talk about your taxes for a second. Out of your property tax bill, 50% of it goes to the schools, right? Either to APS or the Fulton County schools. 25% goes to your city, and another 25% goes to the county. There was no plan 15 years ago to reduce the budget. The composition of the board changes. When I got elected in 2014, Chairman Pitts did not get elected. He wasn't there. So he wasn't even there from 2015 to 2017 to implement a plan or to put a plan in place. It's just inaccurate. And for those that haven't been around long enough, we have a county auditor that audits all of our stuff. There's a page on our website. But if you've only been around for 14 months, you may not have found your way to that website page. So Fulton County already has audits. It already has an auditor, and we already conduct those audits. Our budget is fine. The sky is not falling, okay? Fulton County government is in good shape. It will continue to be in good shape. But as far as protecting our seniors, we have the homestead exemption. We have the additional homestead exemption that just happened. And anybody can tell you what they want to do or what they're going to do. But here's what I'll tell you. The greatest indicator of what someone is going to do in the future is what they've done in the past. And I'll tell you, for the last 12 years, I've hosted 48 town halls on town hall exemptions, an additional 48 town halls on a notice of town assessments. So each year, I host at least 4 of those town halls, not only one for the exemptions and one for the assessments. And I do that, and I go around to the different neighborhoods because people shouldn't have to come to us. So I do one in East Point, and I do one in College Park, and I do one in South Fulton, and I do one in Grant Park. And so I take the information to the people. But yes, our seniors, especially those around the Beltline and everywhere else, need protection, and I will do everything that I can to help protect them. We have kept the budget, the millage rate at 8.87 mils, and I'm happy to have supported that.
All right, thank you all so much. I believe another question, Rita?
Somewhat, yes. Well, the question is, would you support expanding public transit in all areas of Fulton County, as well as areas, I have to be honest, and that is, I previously sat on the MARTA Board of Directors. Sitting on the MARTA Board of Directors, I know what the hiccups have been in expanding public transit. And I know there's been a hiccup on the South Side. My question is, as chairman, how would you support expanding public transit on the South Side equal to other areas of Fulton County?
All right, we will start with Chairman Pitts.
That's a great question. Actually, I worked on the referendum when MARTA, the first time it failed. When we changed it a little bit, it came back and it passed. You have MARTA because of Fulton County and DeKalb counties. Does it need to be expanded? Absolutely. And I've been a proponent of expanding MARTA through the years. One of the problems that we have with MARTA though, is because we don't have what I consider to be adequate representation on the MARTA board. The state legislature changed the way the appointees were made, and we ended up with just one of the appointees on the MARTA board. So that's first and foremost, we're going to have to work with our legislature to get more representation on that MARTA board. The other problem that we have, and we're working with, let me back up a little bit. I convened a group of the 5 other chairs in the metropolitan area, but 2 of those chairs, their groups, their citizens have voted against and continue to vote against the expansion of MARTA into the areas, Cobb County and Gwinnett County. But until they do so, until their citizens understand the benefits of an expanded MARTA system, we're going to have a problem. But we can expand in MARTA, and we are working with our congressional delegation to get the money here so that we can expand our MARTA system. Alternative plans, modes of transportation are also going to be important for us as we move forward. In fact, there's a pilot program that I spearheaded and really working with MARTA. It was called a personal rapid transit system. You'll see you hear a little bit more about it in the next couple of months. It's going to be located in College Park. The experiment will go from our airport to College Park. And this is sort of the transportation of the future to get from point A to point B. So there is a need for an expanded MARTA system in our county, and I support it 100%.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Next, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Yes, I am very supportive of expanded mobility and transportation efforts. I have been supporting those since I've been in office. You are absolutely right that the South Side has been neglected in that regard. Part of the reason is because there's less traffic on the South Side, right? But as we look forward over the next 20 years, we know that that will be continue to increase. My sister actually works for MARTA, is in charge of community relations for MARTA, so we have a great relationship with MARTA and expanding mobility again and transportation. One of the things that I've been working with Aerotropolis Alliance is bringing BRT, Bus Rapid Transit, to the South Fulton Parkway, all the way from Highway 29 and Roosevelt Highway all the way out to Douglas County. And so we've had great talks about doing that, but additionally, we've also talked about expanding BRT along Campbellton Road, State Route 166. And so we have to do whatever we can to help expand transportation and mobility needs. And I have been doing that work and leading in that effort in my 12 years serving as commissioner. In addition to BRT, there's also ART, aerial rapid transit, and a lot of different these transportation and mobility terms that are out there, but we need expanded access. When they came to us, the state came to us asking for money to expand on the north side, I'm a big proponent of equity. So I am fine with supporting anything on the north side or on the east side or the west side, as long as we are expanding equitably, right? And what that looks like is making sure that we are doing equal expansion on the south side and on all around Fulton County, right? Fulton County is the largest and most populous county in the state of Georgia. And so we have to lead the way with expansion, with transportation, and with mobility. So we have been doing that. I have been doing that, and Fulton County has been supportive of that effort, right? Part of our taxes go to that. You'll hear people talking about we don't work well with the city and we don't do anything with the city. It's just simply not true. We partner with the city. We give up our tax dollars so that the city and MARTA can have money. We agree to give up that money so that MARTA can do expansion. The type of capital that's needed for MARTA, they need 30 years guaranteed worth of money in order to expand. And so I have been leading in that effort over and over again since I've been on the Fulton County Board for the last 12 years, and I will continue to lead in transportation and mobility as we go forward.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner. Finally, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you. I'd like to just go back to use some of my time to go back to something that was said before. I wanted to point out that I did try to put aside a fund for seniors to help with their taxes, and that was voted down by Chairman Pitts's gang of four. Independent auditor who is paid by Fulton County to do the audits of Fulton County budget is not really the person you want to be doing your audit. I'm looking to do an independent third-party audit of our budget, not an audit by someone who is also paid to work at the county. And it is true, the greatest indicator of what someone has done is looking at what they have done in the past. And what has not happened in the past is that we have not fixed the jail, fund the courts, built a hospital, or protected elections. So I hope that you will look at that when you are looking at the record so that we can move forward with new leadership. I am a baby of unions. My mother, who is here, is a retired principal of a New York City high school and was in her teachers union. My father worked for the Housing Authority of New York City and is a retired vice president of his local SEIU. And every day to work, they rode public transportation. I never had a car until I came to Atlanta to attend Spelman College. So I am closely related to public transportation and have hoped in the last 35 years that I have lived as an adult in Atlanta that public transportation would expand. And it looks much the same as it always has when I first got here when I was 18 years old. So before we talk about flying cars and autonomous vehicles at the airport, because our airport has a bunch of great things, I'd like to just see more bus routes in South Fulton. I'd like to see more things that people who go to work every day really need. And so that requires collaboration between the county and the city. And the thing about that is that most residents don't really know the difference between the county and the city. And that's what I've been spending my time educating people on. Because as a commissioner, even in 14 months, sometimes someone can do more in 14 months than people have done in 3 decades by just telling people what their government is about. Because when you go to a resident in Fulton County and they've lived in Fulton County for decades and they still don't know what Fulton County does, there's a gap in communication. And so what I've been doing is telling people what Fulton County is responsible for. And so that means also working with the local leaders that are responsible for these big things like MARTA. It's important to be able to sit down with the MARTA CEO and say, I don't understand why the list of projects don't include these things in South Fulton or on the south side, period. And that has not been done because I just sat down with him and he told me that. And I've heard a lot of information. And so what I'm doing is I'm getting the information and then I'm telling you the truth about what I'm learning. Instead of giving all the political talk and saying that everything is working out great, I would like to concentrate on the things that have not been working out great for the past 3 decades and also the past 12 years.
All right. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you so much, Commissioner, and thank you so much, Rita Scott, for the questions. Next, we will have Matthew Nursey with the Housing Justice League.
Do we have a water?
Okay. All right.
There is there's bottled water back there.
There are waters in the back if anyone is thirsty. All right. In the interest of time, because we started a little bit late, the responses to the next questions will be 90 seconds. 90 seconds. So go ahead, Matthew.
Okay. Yes. Hello, everyone. Again, I'm Matthew with the Housing Justice League. So recently, Eviction Lab came out with a data report that says that Atlanta has the highest eviction rate in the entire country. And so we know that people are living paycheck to paycheck. Rent is high, right? Landlord-tenant law in Georgia skews in favor of the landlords. And so I have a 2-part question. In 2025, the county went into a contract with Tyler Technologies to do the online eviction filings portal. And it seems that the county receives a little bit of money from those filings. So my first question is, do you, as a county commissioner, feel that it is good or okay for the county to be making money off of evictions? And then given all the things I said earlier, what would you do as the commission chair to kind of rein in this problem, this crisis that we have as far as evictions in Fulton County?
All right. First up, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you for the question. I think we have to take a step back, right? I mean, I don't know that the problem is an eviction problem. It's an affordability problem, right? People can't pay their rent. They can't pay their other bills because of increases in cost and increases in expenses. I can tell you what I did. During COVID, sponsored and authored a bill to make sure that we set aside $3 million for to fight evictions for rental assistance, right, to keep people in their homes, and so that is what we must do. The county is not making any money off of evictions, and so I would push back against that. There may be a contract where there is money set aside for the technology or for the clerk's office But the county is not. 80% of the county's money comes from property taxes. Okay. So let's just be very clear about that. But yes, we must do what we can to help people stay in their homes. I believe the county is a safety net, especially right now with what we're seeing from Washington. The county has to step in and fill those gaps and make sure that people can stay in their homes and afford to stay in their homes and afford to take care of themselves and their families.
All right. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Next up, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. It is true in Georgia that we do have the most landlord-friendly laws as it relates to eviction, and that comes out of the legislature. And we have an all-Republican legislature, so it's very important for us to collaborate with our representatives to find more balance in that. So we have the voting. This is important where voting comes in, because if we had a more balanced legislature, we would be able to introduce legislation to bring those laws to be more balanced as between a tenant and a landlord. And those fees, we do actually have fees that are collected on that system, but they are used to operate the courts. I would never be for collecting a fee that then profits the county and doesn't profit the system that we're trying to do to move people along. As well, there is a clinic that Fulton County operates called the Reach Clinic, which helps those people who are facing eviction. And I would work to expand that. I proposed for $25 million in this 2026 budget to go to our courts. It was again voted down by Chairman Pitts' Gang of Four, and that money I put in there to fund our courts to do things just like this, which is to expand help to people who cannot pay for legal services around topics just exactly like this, eviction.
Okay. Thank you so much, Commissioner. Finally, we will have Chairman Pitts.
Yes, evictions are a problem in our county, but the fix of that problem, I think, begins and lies with our state legislature. The state legislature has tried to address that problem. They came a little closer this year. I think they're doing better at it, but they were not successful. I'm assuming, though, and hoping that in the next couple of years, they will put some teeth in the landlord-tenant regulations and evictions in particular. I'm currently dealing with a situation that speaks to this question. That's why I thought the question was so relevant. There's a complex in Fairburn called the Manor, where the landlord, the owner, is going up 40 to 60% on the rent. And these are all seniors in this facility. He's doing so because of economics. But the economics have to take a back page from my perspective when it comes to evicting our seniors. So what we're doing now with that group, we're working with our social services, our community development department to find money to help them. So that's what we're doing here. That's a huge problem, but working with the state legislature, I think that we're moving in the right direction about strengthening the laws at the state level. That's an understanding of the process and how the process works.
All right. Thank you so much, Chairman, and thank you, Matthew, for the question. The next person speaking, next person asking the question will be David Nielsen with 5051.
Hello, thanks for being here. I'm David. 5051 Georgia's mission is to protect and restore our constitutional rights. Probably the most important one is the right to vote. So the president and others have indicated their intent to interfere with elections by sending federal officers to polling places and seizing voting machines. What steps would you take as the chair to keep elections free and fair and safe, and also to push back on unfounded allegations of fraud?
All right. We will start with Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. As a law professor at Georgia State University College of Law, constitutional rights mean everything to me. And when I worked for both of Stacey Abrams' gubernatorial runs, we dealt with all of these voter suppression tactics. So I have a lot of experience in this area. When the FBI raid happened, I went immediately down to our elections hub. I turned on my phone so people could see what was going on, and I let them inside so they could understand exactly what was happening with their vote. I promised to be the chair that lets everybody know the truth about the information that they need to know and disseminates that information widely. And then second, I plan to be proactive about protecting our elections from Trump's administration. We knew Trump was coming. We had all the indications that Trump was coming and we were not prepared. So what we had to do was react to the raid instead of being able to proactively fight against it. It took us a long time to respond because we had to collect the right lawyers because we were not prepared. So what I will do is be prepared because I already know it's coming and I know how to fight back against it. But the most important thing is for everybody to protect their right to vote and know the truth.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Next, we will have Chairman Pitts.
The FBI raid that occurred on the night of January 28th was not known about in advance. We reacted as quickly as we could, but going forward, the way we're going to fight, and we are at war. Fulton County, Georgia is at war with President Trump and his allies. I'm on the front line of that fight, which you probably know. But we're going to fight it. And we're going to fight it with everything that we have. We're going to fight it in court. You're not going to go and fight against the FBI when FBI agents show up. I was in my office when the call came in. I immediately got the county attorney. We drove to our elections hub for two reasons. Number one, first of all, to make sure that our employees were safe. Number two, to make sure that we complied with everything that the FBI wanted that night so that we would not have an incident here in Fulton County, Georgia, like what has happened in others. We were successful in doing that. They succeeded in taking our ballots. They haven't. We went to court to get the warrant unsealed. It has been unsealed. We're still fighting to get the ballots and personal information back. I think we'll succeed with that. But the real advantage that we have now is your vote. You can make a change starting on May 19th and certainly in November. If you do not vote, we can call President Trump every name under the sun, but if you do not vote, it doesn't mean a hill of beans.
All right, thank you so much, Chairman. And finally, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. I have already begun pushing back against President Trump and his actions. I've been meeting with our Veterans Empowerment Committee, and we have a group of veterans that are willing to stand guard at our election polling centers, and so that we can have our veterans from our community there to stand with us. First thing we got to do is we have to have someone that actually understands what's going on. Our current chair says that he filed a lawsuit. We have not filed any lawsuits. There's a criminal action. We filed a response motion. It is called a Rule 41G motion. So having an attorney at the helm is very important, someone that actually understands what is going on. We filed a Rule 41G motion asking for the return of the documents, but frankly, those documents are worthless at this point. The chain of custody has been broken. We might as well, they're just like Charmin tissue paper at this point, okay? They are absolutely worthless. Once the chain of custody is broken, there's nothing else that can be done with those documents. They just need to be discarded. But you don't have to wait to become chairman to do that. You take action immediately. I've already met with the veterans. I have them meeting with our elections department so that we can have our own group of local veterans to stand guard over our elections. I went down to the election hub. It's in my district, right? So I was there as well. I'm not running to be the next television host. I'm running to be the next chairman.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner, and thank you, David with 5051. Next up, we will have Taz with the Asian American Advocacy Fund.
Hi. The question I have for you is, as a result of aggressive ICE enforcement actions and Georgia law, immigration detainers have risen considerably. As a result, immigrant residents are now less likely to report crimes or cooperate with investigations. What actions would you take to address this impact, and what investments would you make in community-based safety alternatives? Thank you.
All right, first we will have Chairman Pitts.
I can tell you what we've already done. As a result of what ICE is doing, I joined with my colleagues in the surrounding counties. We sent a letter that was signed by all of us as individuals, and some of their boards had already signed off on it, but asking our delegations in Washington and our representatives in Washington, legislators and members of Congress and senators, to provide some oversight to ICE. Things like not wearing masks, very simple thing. Identifying themselves. We're asking that happen at the federal level, so that we can protect our citizens when ICE, if and when ICE comes here. And I'll be honest with you, we're talking about elections. What I'm concerned about now, possibly not for the April 27th when early voting begins, but certainly in November, whether those ICE agents are going to be here to discourage people from voting.
Thank you, Chairman. Next, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. We've got to do everything we can to push back against ICE. The killing of the two people in Minnesota is tragic. We're talking about someone who attempted a coup to stay in office the first time, and someone who now has his own private army of those very same people that attempted the coup, right? So we've got to push back against this current administration and any and everything dealing with ICE, right? So I am 101,000% against pushing back against ICE, protecting our immigrants, protecting those that are here on visas, going through the process, right? These people are violating the law. They're violating no search warrants, going into people's houses, and then they wonder why people are shooting back or doing whatever they're doing, because you're breaking the law. We have to follow the rule of law, and unfortunately our president does not understand what that means. I guess we should have believed him the first time, because he told us when he sees something, he just goes and grabs it, right? Just like he came and grabbed our ballots. He is I won't even go there, but we have to protect our immigrants, and I put forth a resolution to have all Fulton County employees protect the constitutional rights of anyone on Fulton County property, right? And so we can't control the FBI or ICE or what they do, but we can make sure that on Fulton County property, everyone's constitutional rights are protected.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. And finally, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. I am the first Afro-Latina commissioner ever on the Fulton County Commission. I am the daughter of an immigrant mother who was born in Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. So I take that very seriously. When I become the first ever Latina chair of any county in Georgia, I will absolutely, you can be 100% sure, continue to fight to make sure that immigrants are protected in Georgia. But it is wild to me to hear this conversation to my left when just this past week, it came to light that in the last couple of weeks, there have been meetings at Fulton County to move 500 Fulton County inmates to ICE facilities in Irwin County, Georgia, Texas, and Tennessee. That is to use Fulton County taxpayer dollars to move Fulton County inmates to ICE detention facilities that we know are backed by Trump. It was confirmed on Wednesday at the Fulton County Board of Commissioners meeting by the county manager that he did in fact meet with a company named LaSalle, a private prison owner, to make a deal to move Fulton County residents. So let's be real about what the commission is thinking about doing, whether it happens or not. The idea alone to be meeting with private prison companies which operate ICE detention facilities for Fulton County residents who are in the Fulton County jail is abhorrent. That's the truth you haven't heard.
All right. Thank you, Thank you, commissioners. We will move on to the next question. Thank you, Asian American Advocacy Fund, for that question. We will have Alan Hall with the Justice for Cornelius Taylor Coalition.
I would like to say good evening, everybody. My name is Alan Hall, and I am a survivor from the old Wheat Street homeless encampment where Cornelius Taylor was untragically killed on January the 16th of last year, 2024. I am here today as a person with lived experience of being homeless, and I've just recently transitioned from being homeless. And what I would like to say is, as a person with lived experience, the first thing that I want to say that I am mostly concerned with is homeless people in the wraparound services. That is so, dire, it's a dire need for wraparound services dealing with homeless people. And camp sweeps that's killing more of our homeless people need to be addressed. And the most important thing that I would just like to ask the commissioners, and this is like, what reliable access to wraparound services, housing cannot be truly stable, and the goal of reform in the lives of unhoused people is not possible. If elected, will you commit to increasing county funding for wraparound services for unhoused people? And can you name what new investments you would prioritize in your budget?
All right. Thank you for the question, Alan. We will have Commissioner Arrington go first.
Thank you. I've already worked to commit over $7.5 million towards wraparound services for homeless. I spoke earlier about the pre-arrest diversion program. I went to Seattle with former council member Kwanzaa Hall in 2016. There was a homeless man that had been arrested 87 times for trespassing. 87 times for trespassing. He's homeless. Wherever he goes, he's trespassing. Well, someone finally said, what does it cost to arrest him 87 times, to house him 87 times, to feed him 87 times, to prosecute him 87 times? And so pre-arrest diversion is all about providing wraparound services and doing it before someone gets arrested for some simple crime. Basically, pre-arrest diversion comes in and says, hey, let's divert this person from arrest. It's at the officer's discretion, but we've diverted over 1,000 people in the last 10 years from being arrested because of pre-arrest diversion, which is a program that I brought. I also work very closely with Elizabeth Omalami and Hosea Helps and the other groups, Hope, and that provide sustainable homeless situations, right? Additionally, I host an annual blanket and clothing drive for the homeless, but that's not a sustainable thing. That's a one-time thing that we do every year for the past 14 years. But working with our nonprofits that already serve the homeless is the best thing that we as Fulton County can do. We currently give $5 million towards that annually.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much for that question. I'm glad you asked it. In the 2026 budget, we vote on it the second week in January. A couple of days before that budget was going to be passed, the president of Partners for Home, who runs homelessness, Catherine Vassell in the city of Atlanta, called me and told me that the $4.8 million that the county was to give to the city for homeless wraparound services, the budget had been decreased by $2.1 million. I immediately went to the county manager and asked, is this true? He said yes. He said that the chairman said that there was not enough in the budget and we had to take $2.1 million out. Immediately, there was a press conference. The mayor called me. He asked me to come to a press conference. We had a press conference on Cooper Street, right around the corner from here, and to put the pressure on to say, return that money to the $4.8 million that was promised for wraparound services. Miraculously, 24 hours later, it was back in the budget. It took pressure from the community to get that money back in the budget, even though we promised it in an agreement to give it. I then proposed to have that money put in the budget for 2027 to guarantee that it would be there, and the Gang of Four voted no.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
That is true.
Finally, we'll have Chairman Pitts.
Let me put this in perspective. There are 1,250,000 plus people who are residents of Fulton County. There are, last count, right under 4,000 unhoused or homeless people in our county. The vast majority of those, probably 3,000 of that, let's say 4,000, are residents of the city of Atlanta. The county is not one of our primary responsibilities, but what we do provide, we provide services, and we provide the wraparound services that you addressed. We provide services, those services, through nonprofits that we fund on an annual basis. These are nonprofits that you're all very, very familiar with. So we, I think, take homelessness and unhoused, that whole very, very, very seriously. But in addition to the services that we provide, we're going to talk about affordability at some point, and we'll talk about jobs and the things that we're doing, training and jobs to assist those who may be, and many of us are probably just one paycheck from being homeless.
Great. Thank you, Chairman, and thank you so much, Alan, for taking time here today to ask the question. Next, we will have tax policy expert and former Invest Atlanta board member, Julian Benet, sorry.
Good evening, everyone. You may know I've been campaigning on a serious economic justice question for years, and that is to get the big commercial owners, the billionaire companies, to pay full taxes, fair taxes on their properties. So my questions are to the commissioners. Do you agree that it's a key economic justice role for Fulton County to tax those properties, the trophy properties, the data centers, at their fair market value? Do you see that that would allow you, the hundreds of millions that we're talking about extra that we would get if we did this, that would allow you to fund all the things that you say you want to provide to the county, but that you don't have the money to do in reality? And for those of you here who've rebuffed our efforts on this, the citizens' efforts on this, how do you explain that in the last few months, a data center that was valued at $0 by the county is now valued at $485 million because of citizen pressure and help from one person up here and from Lee Morris on the Board of Assessors? How do you explain that a luxury apartment building on Juniper Street was not on the books, now is at $113 million? So how do you say there's no there is nothing to do, when there is very clearly a lot to do to get this basic fairness of the big billionaire corporations paying their way? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Julian, for the question. First, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. Julian is a supporter of the chairman, has been I'm going to be very truthful, and has been speaking to me about this issue for a long time. And I actually was working with him to deal with this issue, and then was closed out of the meetings, right around when it came time to start campaigning. So there has been the culture is to do what you want when you need the chairman to take up your issue and leave anybody else out of the meeting. Julian, in fact, asked me to create a task force for commercial property assessments and what things could be done for it. And then I put that resolution forward at the request of 3 people in a meeting. He was one of them. And then he did not support that request for that task force. That task force would put together all of the stakeholders that need to be at a meeting in order to discuss proper commercial tax appraisals. I am 100% for everybody paying the taxes that they should be paying. There are a number of people that need to be at the table, not just a secret meeting of men that decide to take credit for something 3 months before an election. So if we're going to be honest, let's be 100% honest.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Ivory. Next, we will have Chairman Pitts.
That's a great question, and I totally agree that we need to assess those trophy properties at their fair market value, as we do with residential. What I've done and what the board has agreed to do, we have issued an RFP, that is a request for proposals, to bring in an outside entity to review, because the criticism is every time I see Mayor Dickens, he asks me about what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So I want to put this issue to rest once and for all, whether or not our Board of Assessors is or is not doing a good job. And what complicates this is because each year the State Department of Revenue gives our Board of Assessors high mark. So what's the truth? The way to get to the truth from my perspective is to bring in an outside independent entity to review those 9 or 10 or plus properties that we all talk about and know where they are and who owns them, to have them evaluate them, assess them, and make that comparison with what the Board of Assessors has done, and that'll get us to the truth. We'll find out one way or another, and then if there's a problem, we have the right to change the makeup of our Board of Assessors. Those are appointments that are made by the Board of Commissioners. Those are the facts, but you have to be there long enough to understand how the system works. 4 votes, you keep hearing about that. 4 votes, 4 people. They can support good legislation and they can defeat bad legislation.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. And finally, we'll have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. I believe that everyone should pay their fair share of taxes and no more. And that includes individuals as well as commercial properties. Now, how that is defined, I just want to make sure we're talking about everything, the same thing, and that we're on the same page. No one pays taxes on the fair market value of their property. If your property appraises at $100,000, you pay taxes on the assessed value, which is 40% of that fair market value. So I just want to make sure that we are clear and that everyone's on the same page. My residential property, your residential property, you don't pay taxes on the fair market value. You pay taxes on 40% of that amount. And everyone in Fulton County should pay their fair share and no more. For some people, that's $0 because they may be a church or they may be a disabled veteran. There are 18 different taxing jurisdictions in Fulton County, the 15 cities, the 2 school districts, and the county. Each one of those 18 different taxing jurisdictions has their own set of exemptions. In Fulton County, we have approximately 36 different tax exemptions that are available. Surviving spouse of a police officer or a firefighter is another exemption, right? And so everyone should pay their fair share and no more. And if those properties are not being assessed properly, if those commercial properties are not being assessed properly, somebody needs to go to jail.
All right. Thank you, commissioners and chairman. We will go to the next question. Thank you, Julian, for the question. We'll have Vivian Janoschik with Represent Georgia.
In the most recent legislative session, there have been many attempts to suppress the voting rights of Georgians, especially in the Atlanta area. And we've also seen a lot of recent attempts by the state election board to make a lot of rulings on the fly to kind of, very quickly suppress votes. So I'm wondering how you all are going to not just protect votes in the state, but react to these often very swift changes in voting procedure to protect Georgians' votes.
All right. First, we'll have Chairman Pitts.
So protecting voting rights and the rights of voters is very, very important. But this is what I think I said this earlier. The FBI raid was just the beginning of the president and his allies' effort to nationalize elections. They know, and it's why I say we are at war with Washington and President Trump. If they are successful in Fulton County, Georgia, they're going to go to other counties and other states. The president has said there are some 15 states that he's identified, and no counties within those states that are targets. What I'm concerned about is that we be prepared here in Fulton County to fight with every resource that we have, because, again, we are the poster child for what he's attempting to do. We know that because I get calls. We're in court now with them, and so we're being very proactive in how we move forward. Just this morning, I attended a press conference whereby we're asking several of us the group that I talked about, the 5 or 6 other county commission chairs and the CEO of DeKalb County, we're asking the governor individually and collectively to veto the bill that was passed. And I think we may have some success with that. But name calling and all that, that just won't do it. You got a legislative process, a political process that does work. And the 5 or 6 of us represent almost 40+% of the population of the state of Georgia. And there's power in those numbers and power in your votes.
Right. Next, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. Fulton County is 70% Democratic. And so our battle with the elections started a couple years ago when the current chair attempted to nominate a lifelong Republican, Lee Morris, to be the chair of the elections committee. And Commissioner Hall, myself, and Commissioner Barrett all fought back against that. And because we did, he went out and targeted Commissioner Hall, and now Commissioner Ivory was there for about 2 weeks, and then now we are where we are. Fulton County is 70% Democratic. We should be pushing back at every turn against all Republicans trying to take over our local elections board and our state elections board. And it's also why it's important that we have attorneys so that we can fight this in the court system and we can get on the front end of it and be aggressive through legal battles, not just sitting back waiting. But when you have someone that sit there and talk about what they're doing, and they're the ones that tried to give the Republicans the third vote necessary to take over Fulton County elections, it's laughable. Fulton County 70% Democratic, and we should have Democratic people up there, and we should not have a chair that votes with the MAGA Republican and the regular Republican. The Gang of Four is this man right here, another Democrat, and the 2 Republicans.
Thank you, Commissioner. Finally, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
It is really important to come to work and do the work. When the Georgia Republican Party wanted to nominated two MAGA Republican election deniers to be on our Fulton County Board of Registrations and Elections, it was that day that we had to vote on them. There are 5 Democrats and 2 Republicans on our board. We broke for lunch and we came back and we had to take that vote. That day, Marvin Arrington was not at the board meeting. That afternoon, Chairman Pitts left to go on a trip out of the country. The other Republican that votes with, the other Democrat that votes with him in the Gang of Four left after that lunch as well, leaving only 2 Democrats sitting with 2 MAGA Republicans on the board to vote on the nominees from the Georgia Republican Party. So Dana Barrett and I, of course, voted no, and the 2 Republicans, of course, voted yes. So in the 2 weeks I've been there, I managed to show up for work on that day and to vote no to 2 MAGA Republicans to be on our Board of Elections and Registrations. So then Dana and I became the voice of that, and that has worked its way through court, and those 2 Republicans are not on our Board of Registrations and Elections. So it's important to come to work.
Sorry, no audience questions. I apologize. Sorry, no audience questions. I apologize.
We got a silver car blocking our turn around. Our retiree just came in from the trip. There's a silver car right here. A Honda. Yeah, silver Honda.
A Honda in the way.
Okay.
We voted on those Republicans.
All right.
And we will, yes, we'll take this opportunity as well to just,
I think
All right.
pardon us.
Hey y'all. Time is up. Time is up.
Yeah. I think Ivory needs.
Yes. Okay. Apologies. You were interrupted. Sorry. You make it. Okay. 20 seconds.
All right. I want to say that it's important to have true Democrats on the Fulton, and certainly a true Democrat as the chair. And so it's important that we hold strong to make sure that in a 70% Democratic county, that the chair is voting for Democratic values and that the people that call themselves Democrats are true Democrats.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner.
Just a quick reminder to please do not address other candidates, other commissioners. Please just speak to the issue. Just a reminder, please. Thank you.
We all love a little drama, but let's focus on the issues. All right. So thank you so much, Chairman and the commissioners, and thank you, Vivian, for the question. We will now move on to audience questions. Real quick, if you have a silver Honda with a license plate, please move your car. It's in the way. All right. So next question. So moving on to the audience questions, we will. I will speak to this first question. With the 2026 World Cup bringing hundreds of thousands of visitors to Atlanta, Fulton County's jail overcrowding and deaths remain unresolved. What specific steps will you take as chair to reduce unnecessary bookings and ensure Fulton County is not relying on jail expansion or mass arrests during the World Cup? We will start with Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. Yes. With the World Cup coming, we need to make sure that we are not arresting people randomly, especially those people that are unhoused. Again, going back to pre-arrest diversion, I've already been leading in that area and will continue to lead in that area. As far as, again, the World Cup coming, there will be a lot of different people coming from a lot of different places, and we should be welcoming them. We should be have our arms open to welcome them. But arresting people, mass incarceration, let's back up for a moment. Fulton County, less than 5% of the people in the jail are there because they were arrested by someone from Fulton County. The people in the jail are arrested by the Atlanta Police Department and the other 15 cities. Fulton County is just charged with housing those people after they've been arrested by the 15 cities. We have the job of providing a safe and humane facility for those people to stay until they have had trial. And so that is what Fulton County does. And again, more than 50% of the people in the jail are there from Atlanta Police Department and their arrest. So we have to have relationships with the mayor, with the other people, the chief of police, and get them to use pre-arrest diversion. In addition to that, we have our own diversion program, Fulton County and the city of Atlanta.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. And quick reminder, we're sticking with 90 seconds for the audience questions. Next, we will go to Commissioner Ivory.
We have to be partners in our region. We're not right now. We have to have relationships with all. Fulton County has 15 cities going 80 miles across, and we have to have relationships with each of those mayors, and particularly with our mayor in Atlanta, which is our biggest city. Of course, that's where our jail sits. And that is not happening right now. That is a problem that has persisted between the county and the city for decades. I have had this conversation with Mayor Dickens many times, and look forward to ushering in a new era of leadership and relationship between the city of Atlanta and the county. So when we think about the World Cup and how those issues will be handled, there has to be coordinated conversations. There has to be a plan so that the entities can work together in concert with each other to make sure that this doesn't happen, that people are not overly incarcerated for the sake of a big event and the economic development that big event brings. And that is not happening. And so to be truthful, we need to look at what has not been working. And what has not been working is working in silos. The county working over here with their police department, the city working over here with its police department, instead of coordinating and working together on a plan when big events come like this, and then every other day as well.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. And then finally, Chairman Pitts.
Yes. We have been working quietly behind the scenes, those who have a role to play and have been in those meetings, to anticipate what could happen and what probably will happen when the World Cup comes and the 300,000 plus people come here. We have a plan in place. I can't disclose what that plan is, but it does involve, in some cases, relaxing some of our rules and regulations and laws in the central business district. And we'll also be looking at having extra courtrooms and things of that nature, open containers, because people who are coming are going to be coming from many, many other countries who are have different customs than we have here. So we're very cognizant of that, and we have a plan in place, and that plan will be made public at the proper time.
All right. Thank you for that question. Next audience question. When people all across the city are suffering from high inflation, increased energy, fuel, and groceries, what is your opinion on whether to increase the property tax millage rate? Are there other areas we could cut costs, like from the police budget? That is the question. First, we will go with Chairman Pitts.
That really addresses affordability, which I talked about earlier. And one of the things that I've been concentrating on is providing jobs and training for residents of Fulton County. We have, and I get criticized for taking trade missions. I've taken about 3 over the last 4 years, but they've been very productive. We have companies from Korea who are located here, who've hired people here, who've invested with local firms. We have 45 Indian companies coming here in May or June of this year for a trade show where they will be bringing capital with them. They will be looking for business partners, and my effort and emphasis has been with them that they coordinate and really target small and minority female-owned businesses while they're here. So that's how I'm addressing that issue, is through business development. Because you can talk about affordability, but if you don't have a job, you can't afford anything. So that has been my focus. You'll also be hearing about an announcement in the next maybe day or so about a program that I put together with Google and Atlanta Technical College and APS, and a school that Atlanta Area Tech is going to open in South Fulton County to train 600 students a year in high-paying jobs in logistics and transportation.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Next, we will go with Commissioner Arrington.
Could you repeat the question, please?
Yes. So, how will you commit to keep? Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. When people. Is that the question? I'm lost. Yeah, okay. When people all across the city are suffering from high inflation, increased energy, fuel, and groceries, what is your opinion on whether to increase the property tax millage rate? Are there other areas we could cut costs, like from the police budget?
Okay, so thank you. The first thing that we need to do is align our tax year, our fiscal year, with our tax year. Right now, we borrow millions of dollars a year to operate the county operations from January until October and November when our tax dollars come in. By simply aligning our tax year and our fiscal year, we can eliminate that money that we're borrowing in tax anticipation notes. Additionally, we can save money on police because there's no reason for that police officer to be here now at this candidate debate. We can absolutely save money on the police. This is not a county event, right? This is not somewhere where the police should be escorting someone to a county event. This is a candidate debate. So I absolutely believe we could save money with police. There's no reason for this person to be going around with the police to every candidate event in the county, wasting money, wasting resources, wasting your money. We absolutely can save money on the police. It's an abuse of power.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. And finally, we will have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. I never want to raise taxes. I don't know if you're the young gentleman who asked this question, but I never want to raise taxes. There are items in our budget that I haven't understood since the day I got here. Oh, also, there should never be any top secret plans from other elected officials on the same commission. I'd love to know about what the top secret plans are for the World Cup, since it's only in about 90 days from now. So I'd love to be in on that meeting one time if I could get in there. Well, I would have, well, that is true, but a lot of the meetings are also public. I love any public meeting, Marvin, that is possible for me to go to. So thank you so much for that reminder. Things have been this way. You see why there needs to be a culture change. I never do want to change the millage rate to burden citizens with more money. But the truth is that in our budget, we have a line item called other. It has $80 million in it. I've asked for a long time what that other signifies, what that money is being used for, and haven't been able to get a good answer. So that's the reason why we need a forensic budget, why we need a forensic audit of our budget, so that we can then figure out where all the money is, so then we can allocate it in the right places. I do believe there's a lot of waste, and I believe when we find it, we will then be able to allocate it without having to raise the millage rate.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Do want to ask the candidates, please don't address other commissioners and speak to the issue, and please don't interrupt candidates as they're speaking. All right, that was the first audience question. Let me pull up the next one. All right. Given the severe overcrowding of the Fulton jail, what do you think is the solution? Do you support using tax dollars to acquire a new jail, or following the Path to 1,000 framework developed by community advocates with the community's Overcages Coalition, which seeks to safely reduce the Fulton County jail population to 1,000 people through diversion, pretrial reform, automated court date text, and stronger coordination among local institutions? We will start with Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. This is important to me. As an attorney, I understand all of those proposals that have been put forward, and I agree with many of them. There are a lot of people that are in the Fulton County Jail just because of poverty crimes that should not be there. I found out that there were people in there with $85 bonds. It costs us $115 a day to keep a inmate at Fulton County. It doesn't make any sense for anybody to be in there for bonds that low. I went and I got them out. So it doesn't matter if it's 2 or 3 or so. I did what I felt was on my heart to do, and I'll do it again. I did it in 2024, I did it in 2025 and 2026, and I'll do it again. I think all of those options are things that need to be discussed. There are ways to reduce the population, take misdemeanors out of the Fulton County Jail, put them on ankle bracelets. It does not have to be overcrowded. But just this past Wednesday, unanimously, the board approved a $1.3 billion jail plan. When that plan first came up in 2025, when I was on the board, I voted no against it. It was an increase of $135 million from only 6 months ago when the plan was just presented. That jail will not be ready until the year 2031 or 2032. So no, I do not believe in the plan that was currently adopted, and when I become the chair, I do plan to make adjustments.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we'll have Chairman Pitts.
Because I totally support the plan that was presented. And in fact, I submitted a 5-point proposal that would reduce the jail population. And most of those points in my plan were identical to what was presented in the proposal that we received from many of the people in this room. So the key is reducing the jail population versus building a brand new, what I call country club style prison, jail, that will house 4,000, 4,500, 5,000 people who are primarily Black and brown people. I totally disagree with that, which is why I support it from day one. The renovation of the Rice Street facility and the construction of a separate medical facility on the same footprint that will be used to treat 70% of our detainees have either a mental issue or a substance abuse issue. That's what that facility would be used for. If we were going to spend $2 or $3 billion on a prison, I would much rather spend that on a hospital, which is sorely needed in South Fulton County.
All right. Thank you, Chairman. Finally, we'll have Commissioner Arrington.
So, as the only practicing attorney and criminal defense lawyer that serves on the commission, I get people out of the jail all the time for the last 30 years. Luckily, all of my clients are innocent. But seriously, I believe that we do need a new jail. I don't have to go visit the jail. I visit my clients there. That jail is in horrific shape. It is not clean. It is not sanitary, and it needs to be replaced. We have inmates crawling through brick walls to assault other inmates. The jail is disintegrating. It is 20 years beyond its useful life, and it needs to be replaced. I did support the other day building the new 1,800 person medical facility for the mental health patients. But I made it very clear on the record that I do not support renovating the Rice Street Jail. We just did a renovation and you guys saw there was a flood because they've stopped up all the pipes. We did another renovation in a section and y'all saw there was a fire. As soon as we do a renovation, they burn it. As soon as we do a renovation, they flood it. We need a new facility that has direct supervision that is designed so that fewer people can monitor more people. The problem we have is with hiring and retention. In Fulton County, we pay comp time. In DeKalb County, they pay double overtime. Which one you want?
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Thank you all so much for those questions. I'll move on to, those responses. We'll move on to the next audience question. Let's see. What are your thoughts and solutions regarding the teen takeovers and lack of affordable / free third spaces for the youth? We will start with Commissioner Arrington.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
You said teen spaces?
What are your thoughts and solutions regarding the teen takeovers and lack of affordable / free third spaces for the youth?
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for that question. I am a big proponent. I believe in our youth. I host annual competitions, essay and film competitions for our youth to keep them engaged. I do a Black History Film Festival. In the summer, I host a program called Right to Rise, where we train our youth on writing and also public speaking. And then every summer, I also host a back to school contest where I give away 10 $500 scholarships to our youth who are going to college. I also work with programs like the Next Level Boys Academy that's run by Gary Davis, and also the program Music Entertainment Group, because I believe we have to meet our children where they are. We have to give them things that they are interested in. You can tell them to just go read a book, but they would much rather be in the studio learning how to engineer, learning the back scenes, or producing a film or editing. And so we have to invest in our youth. Our youth and our seniors are our most valuable assets. And we have to invest more in our youth on the front end, our youth, the arts on the front end. And I don't just say that, I lead by example. You can look at my record. Every year I host all of these essay competitions, and not because I have to, and I don't do it out of my county budget. I raise the money or I donate it myself. Again, what you see is what you get, and my track record proves it.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Next, we'll have Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much. There's nothing more important to me as an educator than youth. And so I spend a lot of my time serving as a mentor to youth. But the truth is that Fulton County, aside from our youth ambassador program, our Fulton County Youth Ambassador Program, which I'm proud to say my daughter was in when she was a 17-year-old, there is not a huge focus on youth in Fulton County because we do not have recreation centers. So they're not spaces that we allocate. Those are with the cities. We have 15 cities, and most of the recreation centers are with the cities. So it's not much of a Fulton County issue, except to say that we could work in partnership with the cities to strengthen those programs, to understand what the cities need, and that they can then have those conversations with the county to support it. So I am overall absolutely advocate of working in better relationship with our cities to find out what their problems are with youth, like, for example, the teen takeovers, and then find solutions around other things that they are able to do to fill up their time. This is a problem of students not having guidance, not having something to dream for, not having mentors, and that is something that we absolutely can be a part of. I think that we have the resources also to make that happen and to support programs that are happening in all of our 15 cities. So that, again, is about working in partnership with our cities.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Finally, we'll have Chairman Pitts.
Teen takeovers are a problem for us, but again, those are occurring in our cities. You know that, I believe you know, that 99.9% of the land within Fulton County is in one of the 15 cities. So the things that you're talking about are occurring within our cities. That means that the role that we play, and I mentioned this earlier, we provide funds through nonprofits that support programs for youth. And I totally support that. And then, in fact, to Commissioner Arrington's credit, he has proposed a program each year for the past several years. I think it's $500,000 a year. We're trying to get that in place before the kids get out for the summer. So I think as a board, we do support youth, but that is primarily all of those things that are occurring within one of the 15 cities. And it is a fact that we do work in concert with our 15 cities.
All right, thank you, Chairman. On to the next and I believe final audience question. Has there been any discussions on reopening and renovating the old Morris Brown football stadium and allowing APS to have another facility to use for sporting events? We will start with Chairman Pitts.
Well, I get accused of knowing too much and not sharing it, but I am aware of a proposal for that facility, but I cannot disclose what it is or who it is, but it's going to be a very significant proposal that will involve that piece of property. That's all that I can say at this time.
All right, next to Commissioner Arrington.
Awesome, thank you. That land is now owned by Clark Atlanta University. They had to fight to get that land. I've spoken with the president there. They are building a housing project there. There's nothing secret or nothing nebulous going on there. Clark Atlanta is building a housing project there for their students, and they're working with a developer. I can't think of his full name. He's an African gentleman. Giz is what he's known by. But that land is owned by Clark Atlanta University. It had been gifted to Morris Brown College for educational purposes. And so when Morris Brown attempted to sell the land, Clark Atlanta University sued and they won that lawsuit and got that land returned to them. And Clark Atlanta University is building student housing on that land. They're going to build around the stadium. I was actually working with a group that was trying to use that stadium for World Cup, and that's exactly how I know, because we went and met with the president and we met with the developer and they told us, and I can tell you that because it's true and it's not nebulous.
All right, thank you so much, Commissioner. Next, we will have, I'm losing my thought. Ivory, sorry, Commissioner Ivory.
After this election is over, there will only be one chair and two people sitting here will no longer be on the commission. I'm hoping to become the chair and that this kind of activity will be gone. This is exactly the culture that we do not need to move forward with in Fulton County. It is a secret. No, it is not. This is the chaos that I came into as a commissioner in 2025 when I was inaugurated. I was shocked by it. This is the kind of conversation that happened on the commission every first and third Wednesday. A culture of constant battling, of reality show type behavior, of I know this, you don't know this. This is it. You've seen it for yourself. And this is what I want to change. I'd like to lift the culture of Fulton County into a new era of leadership, into a new way that we communicate with each other in a respectful manner so that we can take care of the business of the county. And that is what I believe I offer. So yes, I'm aware of the deal with Clark for the Morris Brown Stadium, but more it's about all 7 of the commissioners knowing about it. All 7 working in collaboration with each other to make sure that that project succeeds. Not the gang of 4, not the party of 1, not the best lawyer in the house, but just everybody working together to try to move Fulton County forward.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yep. All right. That was not the final audience questions. We'll have 2 more questions that were just submitted, but we'll keep those to 30 seconds to save some time. So
that the closing statement?
No. You'll get 3 minutes
We
for the.
just got 2 more questions submitted in, so we're going to try to get that in like 30-second responses if possible, and then you will do your closing statements.
All right. First question, and 30 seconds to respond. We will start with Commissioner Ivory with this question. Mayor of Atlanta is trying to extend all 8 tax allocation districts for another 30 years. Do you support this?
I support an analysis of where every single one of the tax allocation districts are before any discussion about extending them happens. I thought it was extremely premature to announce there would be a neighborhood revitalization plan based on the financing at our portion, which is 25%, and that funding would be a part of it before the conversation about the performance of these TADs was taking place. We need to sit down with the city. We need to see if they have... I thought it was the double. I thought it was the double.
Yeah.
Oh, you did it already?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's only 30 seconds.
We'll do 1 bell for 15 and then 2 bells for 30. Sorry about that. Next, Chairman Pitts.
I'm open to discussing all of the TADs with the mayor and the city. We've had preliminary discussions. Was with him this afternoon. We're going to get together again to discuss what we do with the TADs, but also the big player in this is the APS. So the 3 of us will be getting together to look at the revenue implications for each of the 3 jurisdictions.
All right. And finally, Commissioner Arrington.
I am supportive of extending TADs. These TADs are in neighborhoods that are mostly underdeveloped. However, I do believe that there needs to be review. Right, there have been some abuses and other things going on, but I am supportive of supporting the city of Atlanta and extending the TADs. I believe that we need to have those dollars. And Atlanta is the economic engine, not only of the state, but of the county. And so we need to be supportive of them, but we certainly need to root out all
Thank you,
abuses.
Commissioner. And on to the next question. We will start with Chairman Pitts on this question. The Fulton County TSPLOST is up for renewal this year. The expiring tax, which raised $500 million, includes $0 in funding for public transit. Do you support including public transit funding in the next TSPLOST? Chairman Pitts.
Yes.
Great. On to Commissioner Arrington.
I do support public transportation. MARTA has come and asked for 1 cent for the renewal of the 1 cent sales tax so that they can plan for the next 30 years, and I am supportive of that.
All right. And finally, Commissioner Ivory.
Yes, of course. I'm supportive of expanding transportation, and we're not going to be able to do that without expanding extending the TSPLOST. So yes, I am.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very much for your thoughtful answers to the questions by our attendees and by our partners. We will now hear closing statements from the candidates, starting with, and 3 minutes will be given for the closing statements. You will get 1 single bell for 30 seconds left and 2 bells when your 3 minutes are up. So we will start with Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you so much, everybody, for being here tonight and for staying as long as we have been. Let me close with this. When a house is on fire, you do not stand around asking how long somebody has been in the neighborhood before they pick up a water hose. You do not waste time debating whether the person trying to help has been there 14 months or 14 years. You just simply put out the fire. And that is exactly why I'm in this race. Fulton County is dealing with real fires, a humanitarian crisis in the jail, underfunded courts that delay justice, lack of health care in hospitals, housing instability, and a budget process that has too often left the public in the dark. So when people ask me why I'm running now, my answer is simple. Because the house is on fire, and I'm not willing to stand by and pretend that everything is fine. And let me be clear on the tax issue too. I was never interested in raising taxes for the sake of raising taxes. I'm interested in telling the truth that years of neglect, delay, and poor leadership have real costs. A broken government is an expensive government. But before you ask working people for one more dollar, you ought to do the hard work first. Conduct a forensic audit, find where the money is, examine how it is being spent, and make reasonable reallocations. That is what discipline looks like. That is what accountability looks like. And that is what leadership looks like. This race is not about who's been around the longest, because that does not mean anything for results. It's not about who knows whom, and it is not about protecting people from discomfort. It is about protecting the people of Fulton County from more of the same. Because the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Working families pay the price. Poor people pay the price. Black communities pay the price. Immigrant communities pay the price. The South Side pays the price. And this race is also about strength. Fulton County does not need a chair who folds under pressure, protects the status quo, or reacts late when people are in crisis. We need a chair strong enough to fight for real funding for the courts, strong enough to push for healthcare access and hospitals below I-20, and strong enough to protect our voting rights and stand up to Trump when our communities are under attack. I'm the only candidate in this race who has put something real on the line to be here. I stepped away from the comfort of being an elected official and everything that comes with that, because I take this office seriously and I take the people of Fulton County seriously. So if you are ready for a chair who will tell you the truth, do the work, protect the people, and fight for the real results in the crises that we have, jail, courts, hospitals, and elections, then vote for me, Mo Ivory, as your next chair, and let's make history.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner. Next, we have Chairman Pitts.
All right, thank you for the opportunity to be here, and thank you for your attendance this evening. I've had the pleasure of serving you with distinction as a member of the Atlanta City Council, as a president of the Atlanta City Council, as a Fulton County Commissioner in the past several years as chair of the Board of Commissioners of Fulton County. Those of you who live in Atlanta, live in a great city. It's a well-respected city. Those of you who live in Fulton County, most of you live in Fulton County, as I said in my opening remarks, of the 3,000 plus counties in the United States of America, we are viewed by many as number 4 out of that group. Now, how did that happen? It didn't happen. It's not the loudest voice. It's not those who scream the loudest in meetings. It's about calm, steady, experienced, tested leadership. That's what's gotten us to this point. How do you think that we got this AAA bond rating, which is so significant? It didn't just happen. I think I bring to this position what I've brought to every position that I've held. I've never embarrassed you, no scandals. And this county is one of the best in the United States of America. When you live in a place, you may not recognize that, but others do recognize what we do for our youth, what we do for our seniors, what we do for our homeowners, what we do for young families, and young families in particular, and what we do with taxes. That's the bread and butter. The program that I put in place some 15 years ago, it was such a good program that even when I wasn't there, that plan continued to work. And it's working even today, to the extent that your millage rate has remained steady at 8.87 mills. And all the while, we're still able to provide the services that you pay for and that you deserve. It's not about screaming. It's not about well, I won't go there. It's not about any of that. It's about calm. It's about steady. It's about experience, professional leadership who knows how to get things done and who has gotten things done. We're in a big fight. We're in a war, as a matter of fact, with President Trump and his allies in Washington. You need your best. Now, this is not the time for on-the-job training.
All right. And finally, we will have Commissioner Arrington.
Thank you. So happy to be here with you all tonight. I'm running to be the next chair of the Fulton County Commission because last year they cut my $500,000 summer youth job training program that I had since 2015. After 10 years of the program, the current chair and the Gang of Four cut that money. I'm running because they also cut, after 3 years, the $1 million a year that I had set aside for veterans. And so last year, once they made those decisions, that's when I started running. You know when it got contentious? It got contentious when we pushed back against him nominating a lifelong Republican to be the chair of the commission. Prior to that time, there was no contention. Prior to that time, he was coming to me asking me, what are we going to do? Prior to that time, he was counting down the number of meetings he had left, because after he ran in 2022, he said he wasn't going to run anymore. I only got 15 meetings left. I only got 14 meetings left. So that's when I decided to run for chair, when they cut the money for the youth, when they cut the money for the veterans, and when they cut $2 million for the arts. And we're going to talk about transparency as well, because the other person up here voted with them lock and step until August 20th when that date was there. I was out because I had hip surgery that day. And then 2 more times that issue came back up, and I voted against it both times. We do not need to, and guess what? I never voted for that lady to be there the year before. Commissioner Barrett had voted for her to be there the year before. I voted against both nominees that Bridget Thorne nominated because she is an obstructionist, and so are they. And when you're a Democrat, you don't, guess what? You can vote with the Republicans every once in a while, but you cannot vote with a MAGA Republican every time. You cannot pass your policies by partnering with a MAGA Republican, right? I mean, maybe you can vote with a regular Republican every once in a while. But if you are relying on the vote of a MAGA Republican for your policies in Fulton County, it's time for you to go. It's time to pass the baton. Please elect Marvin Arrington Jr., the only certified county commissioner, because I've received over 150 hours of training from the University of Georgia commissioner training and the Association of County Commissioners of Georgia. I'm familiar with continuing education because we have to do 12 hours a year as a lawyer. But in addition to doing the 12 hours a year, I made sure that I did the commission training so that I can learn what's going on and not speak randomly about things that I don't know. So thank you for being here tonight. I look forward to serving as the next chairman of the Fulton County Commission. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just a reminder, any question that we did not get to tonight will be sent to the candidates for them to answer after the forum, and we will email their responses to the attendees. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight. Once again, to our sponsors, Atlanta DSA for taking the lead on this event. Of course, the Housing Justice League, Georgia Working Families Power, the Atlanta North Georgia Labor Council, Asian American Advocacy Fund, Georgia 5051, and of course our host, CWA Local 3204. Please make sure to grab any literature on your way out. We're going to invite the candidates to hang out for another 20 minutes or so and talk to the audience if they feel they can. And shameless plug, join DSA, all right? Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for coming out.